Hi everybody, I hope everybody is doing well. So I did promise if I did have a little play about with these kits, I will film it. So today what I want to do is I want to build a little book with this little Once Upon a Time Under the Sea kit. So let's get started. You will now need to hit the charity shops when you are looking for glasses. Look out for some books. They are perfect. They always have loads in. This is one that I picked up quite a while ago. I got a few of these. I think there was only about 25 pence. So it is quite a weighty book. However, it's a nice size for a display. So this one I think is about 8 inches. Let me just measure it. So this is 5.5 inches across by just under 8 inches. So again, you can work on any size you like. So what happens is when you stand your book up, because obviously it's going to be upright, it's going to flop over like this. And obviously by the time we decorate the front as well, we're going to need to support this book. So we're going to do that first. We'll just move everything out the way. So your book, depending on how old it is, this looks ancient. It even smells old. Open it up like this. It doesn't quite sit flat like I want it. And I know once I get, like I've just said, weight on the front, when I get it on my display, I don't want it to keep flopping forward. And I do want it sort of like open a little bit. So first of all, what we're going to do is put some weights inside here. Now I have, the kind Mark has donated me some of these little washers. However, you can use pennies, you know, anything weighty. So first of all, I'm going to add my weights. Oh, there's a price on this. 15 pence, I paid more than that for it. I'm going to open up my book and I'm going to put my weights inside this. There's no point you putting it on paper. Obviously, it's far too thin. So I just want to put some weights inside here. I'm going to start with 3 and just see whether that is enough. So I'm just going to use my glue gun and attach those in there. Just give myself a little gap. Like I say, I'm making this up as I sort of like go along. I just don't want these too far down, just in case I decide to put any extra bits onto my book later on. So I've added these 3 with my glue gun. I'm then going to go to the back of the book. And I'm going to add another 3 on this back part as well. They don't really have to be in line. So I'm just going to glue those in. Just going to move you over. So you should now have some weights at the front and at the back. That's obviously going to make it sort of like sit upright. But again, you know, it's sturdy, but it's not sturdy enough for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split and put some weight to the back with these pages. So depending on where you want to go, just open it up here. I'm going to run my glue gun along this edge here, just to put that back piece down. And then, you know, in every few pages, I'm just going to put some glue gun and then attach this whole chunk to the back of my book. Just been working along my pages. Just make sure if you do use your glue gun that you pop your glue, you know, quite far down, because you want your pages still to look open, especially if you're doing an open book. If you are doing a flat book like this and you want all your design on the top, you won't have to faff with any of this stage. But I do want mine open. So obviously when I opened the book, the spine completely fell out, you can see. So I've had to glue that back in. So if you are looking for books in the charity shop, I didn't check this one, just make sure your spine is all right, and then you probably won't have to, like I say, do this stage. Mine sits better this side. I'm not bothered about the print at the back, because obviously everything is going to get covered. So once you've had a play about and you are happy with the placement and all your pages are open like this, we are now going to grab some paint. So throughout all of our builds, I will be sticking with gold, because obviously that is the colour that I went for with all the prints. So these are the golds that I've got. I'm not quite sure which colour I'm going to use yet, but I'm going to run through these with you just in case you want to grab some, or you might already have them. This is spun gold. I purchased this from Amazon. This one and this one is Art Studio. I think this is going to be a bit too gold. This is classed as dark gold and frosty gold. And then the one we used for Belle on live the other evening was from Artiste, I think that's the way you pronounce it, which is the metallic gold as well, metallic classic gold. So I haven't chosen my gold paint just yet, but next you will need to get some masking tape. So now my book, I had to use 2 lots of masking tape, as you can see down the spine. My masking tape wasn't quite wide enough, but it doesn't matter. So I've got my front and my back and my spine covered, and now it's time to paint. So the reason why I pop the masking tape on is, one, my book is really shiny. I could have gone over with some sandpaper, you know, just to help the paint stick. And my book is really dark, so it's going to take a lot of layers, and sometimes it can sort of like chip off. So I am decided on the metallic classic gold. I'm going to go for the lighter colour, and then I'll probably delve into some of the darker shades later on, just to give it a little bit of shading. So I'm just going to take my paintbrush and I'm going to cover all my masking tape on the spine, the front, the back. Let me just show you how easy it is to paint over this masking tape. So that is just one coat. Can you see how easy it is? And you've also got a guide as well. Obviously I'm going to put something in the middle of my book later on, once all this paint's dry. So I'm just going to go all the way around my masking tape, covering the whole thing in my light gold. I'm going to let everything dry and then I'll be back. So all my book is more or less dry. What I've done is took my heat gun, and that just sort of like gives it the bubble effect, because obviously we are doing under the sea. So get your heat gun quite close, and what it'll do is it'll bubble up your paint while it's sort of like still wet, especially when you've got the masking tape underneath as well. So next what I'll need to do is I'm going to add my front. So let me grab some cardstock. So I do like this green. This is A4 size. I got these in a massive pack from the range, loads of different colours. I just think the green's going to look really nice. I'll just move you back, against these stickers. Obviously I'm going to put borders and bits like that on. It's just to give me a base for the middle. So what I'm going to do, you can maybe do a fancy scroll if you want to. I'm just going to do a basic square. So what I'm going to do is take this border, measure up a square and cut that out, and then I'm going to do exactly the same for the back piece as well. So I'm just going to measure my cardstock, cut it out, and then I'll be back. So I've now cut my cardboard squares. I just kept sort of, excuse me, attaching it, because obviously I do want some border. By the time we've added all the shading and everything around the edge, I didn't want it too far over all my gold. So I've cut 2 the same. So I'm going to have one at the front and one at the back. Obviously, I'm not going to paint too much to the back. It's just to cover the other bits. And then I've got this sticker. And what I did was just place this onto some scrap bit of cardstock or cardboard. You can obviously use your Cricut, but I'm not getting my Cricut out today. So what I've done is just sort of like line my sticker up, cut a rough oval. I just sort of went round the shape. And then I painted this in the same gold, because I do want that mountain in the middle there, and then obviously that's going to go in the middle of my book. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my glue gun or my tacky glue, it's completely up to you. Pop it all on the top and stick that on there, and then I'm going to flip my book over and put on my other square as well. Just flip you up right so you can see. So I've just put that on there. So now what I want to do is attach my sticker to my little circle, and then I'm going to place this in the middle. So I use my glue gun to attach my circle just so it stands out a little bit more, and I didn't peel my sticker off. I've literally just put a blob of glue just underneath the sticker itself, and I'm just going to sort of like curl the edges round. You can obviously have yours flat. I just think it looks a little bit better when it's sort of crinkled and sort of stood out the book. So I do want to make it look a little bit old as well. So now what we need to do is I want to add the extra detail before we start adding all the other bits and pieces. So we're basically just building it up just like we do a shake. So taking the same green that I use for the middle, what I'm going to do now is create 2 little strips with a point on one end, and then I want this wrapping around this part here so it looks like part of the spine. Obviously this part is too wide, but just to give you an idea. So that's going to go over like this, but I do want sort of like a pointy edge on it as well. So you can obviously use cardstock if you want to, and you can paint those. I just feel like I've used quite a lot of gold already, so I want mine in a different colour, but you might want yours gold. I just want to bring in that the green for the front. So I'm just going to make 2 points. I'm just going to measure it how thick I want it. Like I say, you can measure it with your ruler, or just keep trimming it off until you get your right width. So I just want 2. I want 1 at this bottom part and 1 at the top. So I decided on a 2 centimetre width, and I've just added a point. So I've made 2 of these. So I've kept them quite long. And then what I want to do now is just have a play. I'll just bring you up close. And then what I tend to do is keep it long. Once you are happy with the placement, just pop a little bit of your glue gun just on there. And then what you can do then is flip your book the other way, fold this over, and then place your glue gun underneath there, and then trim that off. You might want to measure it first. I just find it easier doing it that way. So I'm going to attach this one and the bottom one with my glue gun. So I've now attached these with my glue gun. So now what we're going to do is use a stipple effect all the way around. You don't have to do this, and if you don't trust yourself, I'm just going to give you a few tips just before I start. I'm going to do this to the front and to the back. So let me just slide this out the way. So depending on what colour you have gone for, this is the first tip I can give you. So I've just got myself a scrap piece of the colour, and then just taking a brush. The flatter the better. If you haven't got a flat brush, you can just use your scissors and just trim off the edge. And what this will do is you can have a play about with some paint of how it looks on this cardstock. Like say if yours is white, you can still do the same method. So I've picked out this green. You probably won't be able to see it so much on camera. It's like an off green. So you can have a play about mixing some colours with white. I've also got out the pearl ice blue as well, and then obviously there's loads of different golds, what I showed you in the previous step. So just taking your brush, what you're going to do is have a play about. You might have a little mixing pot as well. Just dip your paintbrush into your paint. So I'm just going to start with this green just to see what it looks like, and then I'm just going to stipple this just by tapping it onto my cardstock. This is now going to show me what colour that paint is going to show when I do this on here. So, you know, depending on what colours you're going to go for, or you might not want to go for any colours, you can then do the same method with your blue and then your gold, and just have a play about, just seeing, you know, what colours stand out and which ones you prefer. So these are what my colours turned out like. I think the blue is far too blue. The golds aren't too bad. I don't like the light blue either. I think it looks a lot more like Cinderella. But I do like this paler green. So again, if you haven't got this colour, you can obviously add some white paint in a little mixing pot and just have a play about, like I said, just to get the colour that you want. You can also refer back to your kit as well, depending on what you're going to put on your book. I think I'm going to use a few of these. I know I'm going to pop in some of these on as well. So like I say, just have a play about. I do like that green. I think it makes these pop a little bit more. So I will be sticking to this green. So taking my flat brush, what I'm going to do now is dip into my paint. I'll just move you up a little bit, and I'm going to start stippling just this corner to start with. I'm going to go over the gold, sort of like blend everything down. I'm not going to go right the way along, I don't think. I'm not going to dip into my paint anymore. I'm just going to sort of like blend that paint outwards. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same on this corner here. Maybe do a few down here and just have a play about with the paint. So you won't need to keep dipping in too much. Just sort of like blend it out as you go. So obviously we're going to decorate on the top of this as well. Jim is now crowing. So I'm just going to, like I say, add this in this corner. I'm going to flip the book over and do the same on the other side. Have a play about with my paint, and then I'll be back. So this is where I decided for my paint. And then I've done the same on the back as well. Obviously, I don't really decorate the back, but I just thought, while I've got the paint out, I'll do the back as well. So now what we're going to do is layer over this paint. That way everything is going to blend in by the time we've got our bubbles on, our glitter on, and all our extra bits and pieces. So now is the fun part. So now we're going to add our bubbles, and we are going to use bubble wrap, which is the easy option. However, you can obviously use your clear glue gun, do some circles and let these dry, and you can go up with your bubbles as well if you want some bigger ones. If you don't trust yourself going straight onto your book, what you can do is get yourself some greaseproof paper, squirt your glue gun to make your circles, let those dry, and then peel those off your greaseproof paper and then glue those on individually. So especially if you want some bigger bubbles, you can do that option as well. So taking your bubble wrap, what I'm going to do is just place this on this corner here. I'm then going to use my scissors and just cut a rough shape. So I'm just going to follow this sort of green that I've done. So my bubbles sort of end here. So let me just trim that now. I then also want some bubbles at the top, so you can do the same again. So just get your scrap, lay it where you want it so you can go right the way along. And then use your scissors and just make sort of like a wavy line, you know, if you want to go all the way along. So let me just cut that as well. So I've cut this top and this top. So I want a little tiny bit in this corner here. So again, just take your scrap. I don't want it going over this part here. You might want to. So I'm just going to trim that off there. I've then worked along and added all these bits. Like I say, I've just kept these bits clear as well. I think I'm going to put some fishtails on those later on. So once you are happy with all your bubbles, like I say, you might just want just one up the top. It's completely up to you. I just think it's going to look really nice by the time we glitter all this up for it to go all the way around. So once you're happy with your bubble placement, what you'll need to do now is get out your clear PVA glue or your tacky glue and attach all your bubbles down to your book. So I'm obviously not going to do the back part. I'm just going to concentrate on the front. I haven't put any bubbles on my spine either, so you might want to wrap those around your spine. I just feel like once the book's upright, I don't want my bubbles sort of like standing out, so I have avoided this part as well. So I'm now going to go ahead, stick everything down, and then we're going to glitter. So once all your bubbles are in place, you'll now need to get yourself some clear PVA glue. You can use tacky glue, however, you know, it does clump, it doesn't spread as easy. And then you can have some iridescent glitter. This is the one that I'm going to be using. You can obviously use different colours if you want to. I just think these are going to stand out a lot better on the bubbles. So taking your paintbrush, what you'll need to do now is dip into your glue and coat all your bubbles. Once everything is wet, you will then go to sprinkle all this glitter all over your bubbles. I'm going to do this off camera because I can do this over my bin. So I've glittered all my bubbles. Obviously my paint is still wet, as you can see. So once everything is dry, now is the time to go back into your kit or into your charm box. We have some pearls, so I'll probably add a little border of pearls around this one. We have some prints as well, which I think these look really nice in the corner, or your larger sticker. You don't have to peel your stickers off if you don't want to. You can just add your glue gun on the back. It'll just help it stand out 3D a little bit more. I do like these fishtails. I know a lot of you have got these because we sell these separate as well. So what I might do is add 2 of my fishtails on my little extra pieces that we put on earlier. And then I might grab 2 more of these, maybe have these in the middle. So what you need to do now is just have a play about. You can use your glue gun, your tacky glue, place everything you know, where you want it, and then decide, and then glue everything into place. So I'm going to have a play about with my charms, and then I'll be back with the finished result. And this is my finished result. It is so sparkly. Jim is crowing again. Every time he hears me, he starts crowing. What I did was I just made some points with my PVA glue. This is the glitter that I used over the top. I also PVA'd just the front of my cardstock as well. Went in with the glitter that we used for the bubbles, and then just tap my other glitter over the top. So obviously everything is still drying. I did bring in the belt as well that we created on live last week, just to show you what all these kits are looking like so far. We've got so much more to build. I really hope you give it a go for your display, and I will see you all soon. Goodbye, everybody.